321で盗まれた私の恋心勝手に盗んだあなたは恋泥棒だあなたを探して3秒聞き慣れた笑い声に振り向いてあなたを見つけて2秒誰にも見えない口元がにやけてあなたと目が合う1秒その瞬間にいられたもう抜け出せないや恋の始まりの合図この胸の高鳴りはもう
Hi everyone, I know this is like super late, but bear with me. I just finished my latest, story. I haven't published it yet because I still have to go over it, but I just finished my latest story for Tumblr. So yeah, I normally write F쏘ɪṛ on there, so like if you guys want to, I don't know, like read them, you can like just tell me and I can like drop the link of my Tumblr. But anyways, yeah, here is the part 2 that a few of you have been requesting. So, yeah, okay. You were pacing the floor of your bedroom, biting your fingernails. You knew you should head to bed, but you felt restless. He'd probably read the note already, probably knew what it meant, and now he thought you were crazy, maybe psycho even. Could you even say you weren't? You should have never done it, had never done any of it. Your mom yelled at you to turn the light off and head to bed as it was already late and you had school in the morning. But did you even want to go to school? Maybe you could fake a sickness? Then you wouldn't have to face Tobio. But then what about the day after? And the one after that? You would have to face him one day, and the more you put it off, the more awkward it would be. Okay, you know what? This is crazy. You decided, if you acted this way in front of him tomorrow, he would find you weird. You just had to be cool. Just be cool, you told yourself over and over again. Eventually, you huffed a sigh and went to bed, though your dreams were plagued with the different ways Tobio would reject you. You woke up with bleary, unrested eyes. You took extra care to fix your uniform, making sure to press it down, and even tried to wash your face and brush down your eyebrows. You tried a bit of tinted lip gloss so as not to raise suspicion to anyone else, more so your parents. That today was any different than the others. It was cold out. Christmas was around the corner, and it was winter. Of course it was cold. But every time you took a breath, puff of smoke came out afterward, as if you'd been smoking a pack every day for the entirety of your teenage years. So you speedwalked to Pᴇʀsᴏ. Upon arrival, you huddled near the shoe locker. You never saw Tobio in the morning, so you knew the first time you would see him was in class. Your heart leaped at the thought. You still couldn't figure out what he would say, how he would say it. Probably how he always said it. God, why were you overthinking this? So what if he didn't like you? That didn't mean you had to be weird about it. You could take it like a normal person. Though part of you knew it was the fear of losing the minor relationship you already had with him, the other part of you didn't want to think about it because if you did in fact put your minuscule in-class relationship on the line for nothing, you'd be more than gloomy. You'd be depressed and anxious anytime you saw him, embarrassed. You huffed, jumping when your friend smacked you on the back in greeting. Hey, so did you do it? You sighed, letting your head fall against the locker with a thud. Don't ask. What? Why? She squinted her eyes up at you in confusion. What happened? You groaned, then said, Ask me after school. What? Why? She asked again, more confused this time. Wait, did you really do it this time? Her eyes widened and a smile fell. Wyan, that's amazing. You groaned again, earning a chuckle and a pat from your friend. That's all right. Come on, let's get to class. Tobio and his friend hadn't arrived yet. It was a relief and also a nerve-wracking. Yes, you had time to plan for your reaction, depending on the reaction he gave when he saw you. But that also meant you had to hold that expression as he passed you to get to a seat. You wanted to cry or throw up or die. You didn't know, but it somehow felt like all three were better than facing whatever you were about to face. Your math teacher walked in and the class went silent. Tobio still hadn't shown up. Oh my god, is this because of me? You couldn't help but freak out. What if he didn't show up today or tomorrow because he felt so weirded out, so odd, so unsure of how to respond? But then, a few seconds into you thinking of how you'd hang yourself in your room, Tobio's friend, you thought his name was Hinata? You knew they were on the volleyball team together, and that's why they were so close. Your heart did somersaults up and down your chest as Tobio appeared behind his shorter companion. Sorry we're late, Hinata shouted. Yeah, sorry. Tobio bowed. Oh, he was so adorable. You stopped yourself, feeling your cheeks warm in the very cold of the classroom. Just sit down. Your math teacher sighed, not wanting to go into detail about the why. He'd been fed up with them from the beginning of the semester. Though they weren't late that often, the first time he'd asked, they'd gotten into an argument with each other when explaining. Being so loud and disruptive, so early in the morning, he'd vowed never to ask again. Yes, sir, they said in unison. That's when he looked up, when his eyes skidded across the classroom and found yours. You swear time stopped for a moment, but then he glanced away, almost avoiding your eyes, and your heart fell. You did your best to avoid him all day. You didn't ask him questions during your work periods, didn't ask if he needed help, and didn't speak to him at all. A few people noticed your odd behavior but said nothing. Hinata, especially, though he tried not to make it obvious, was staring at you. He'd whispered things into Tobio's ear, which then made the raven shift in his seat and probably changed the subject. He didn't try to talk to you either, though he rarely did. It seemed as though your crush was obvious and he just was too clueless to take notice. Thankfully, most of the kids in your class didn't really care, so it wasn't a hot topic. It was lunchtime and you were eager to get out of the classroom that seemed way too stuffy only for you. You headed to the cafeteria with your friends, briefing them on what had happened last night. Some of them made fun of you, the others comforted you, and your best friend kept quiet as if debating on what to say. Maybe you should just give him time, you know? Kageyama isn't known for being book smart or street smart. He probably doesn't understand. How could he not? You threw your hands up in agony. Classes would start again in a few minutes, so you were heading back to class, prepping yourself to face him again. The halls were pretty empty, save for a few students at the vending machines. Again, it's Kageyama we're talking about. She reiterated, I told you from the beginning not to have much hope. You're such a good best friend. You spat sarcastically, glaring. Look, I'm just trying to look out for you. It's no use in letting it bother you all day. Yeah, your shoulders drooped. You're right. Atta girl, she said. She had just patted your back when Tobio appeared around the corner of the hall to your right. Your friend held his gaze for a moment before you caught his eye. I'll see you in class. You nodded, though frightened, ready to get this over with. The padding of her feet echoed in the near-empty hall. Tobio leaned back against a wall, stuffing his hands in his pocket. You held your breath, waiting for the outcome. Minutes. You stood there for minutes in silence. He turned back to you, raising a brow. Well, you wanted to talk? Your face went into autopilot and fell, confused. What? Your note? He reiterated, clearing his throat and shifting his stance. It said you had something to tell me after school. I know it said after school, but... He frowned, his lips thinning, his heart was racing, though he tried not to let it show. I don't know. I couldn't wait. It's been bugging me all day. You nodded, slack-jawed, because, no, you hadn't confessed your undying love for him, but wasn't it in the context clues? For a split second you wanted to punch him, but then you calmed yourself and looked down, readying yourself. I like you, you said, thinking you might have to go into more detail, but thankfully he understood that much. Oh. He faltered for a moment. You huffed. You don't have to say anything. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. To me, you paused to breathe. It's as simple as that. I like you as we are now, but I also like you more. So, whatever you say, I hope it won't change anything about the dynamic we have. There, you had gotten it out calmly, quickly, and without stuttering. You thought you deserved an American Oscar. Right, he said after a moment. Okay, then, I like you too. What? You couldn't help the dumbfounded expression that framed your face. I like you, he repeated. Too. Your face heated up. But you don't even, you didn't even think about it. I didn't have to. He took a hesitant but measured step forward. I've been trying to figure out what this thing I have is. He tried explaining. It only happens with you, so it must be because... He turned away, face red. I like you. Your heart sputtered. What things? You had to know. You just had to know, because what if he was confused? What if he was so him that he was wrong about his own feelings? I look for you. He began, his voice quivering slightly, without meaning to. You nodded, feeling your heart pound in your chest. I'm disappointed when I don't find you, but when I do... His breath catches and he swallows, as if embarrassed by his own admissions. When I do find you, I feel sick, light-headed and dizzy. You gulped. Oh. Yeah. He sighs, holding a hand to his face, as if he was dizzy now. Are you okay? You stepped in front of him, grabbing his shoulder. How could he like you? It was so unobvious. It was the complete opposite of you. He showed no signs, though perhaps talking to you willingly should have been the first sign. You don't know. This was Kageyama Tobio you were talking about. How should anyone have figured? His gaze slid to yours, and through the space his arm created, you could see his eyes watch you from under his long, pretty boy eyelashes, and his cheeks. They were dusted with the darkest shade of red. He was nervous and blushing, and it was so damned cute. You wanted to gush over him right there, but were afraid he would go mute. Do you want me to take you to the nurses? No, he whispered. I think I'll be fine if... He paused, averting his gaze. If you stopped looking at me like that. You raised a brow, biting your cheek to keep from smiling. Like what? Like I'm the only person you see. He said, and you couldn't help but snort a little at his explanations. They were so incredibly random, and yet so incredibly right. I'm sorry. You pulled his arm down, forcing him to look at you. I don't think I can do that. Let's hear it, bruv. Let's hear it, bruv. I know you ate that shit up. And I also know you guys didn't think I was going to post tonight. I also know that. I know that. I know you weren't expecting me to post tonight, but here I am, bruv. I told you I would post, and I posted, bruv. I hate myself sometimes. Anyways, thank you for listening. I am so incredibly happy that I'm posting again. That I'm having motivation to post again. Anyways, thank you for requesting part 2. I remember when I first started watching, I was such a Kageyama girl. Kageyama and Sugawara, those were my two main baes. And then I was super obsessed with the cat boy name, that's crazy. What was his name? Kenma. I was so obsessed with him. That's why I created this channel, actually. I know I talk about it a lot, but he's the entire reason I created this channel. Anyways, so let's have a moment of silence for Kenma and thank him for bringing us all together. Okay, that's all. Anyways, thank you for listening. I know I talk so much. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Have an amazing morning. Have an amazing afternoon. Have an amazing evening whenever you're listening to this. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Love you.